When I am down and all my soul is weary, when troubles come and my heart burden me, then I am still and I wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You've raised me up so I can stand on mountains. You've raised me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong because you've lent your shoulders. You've raised me up to be all I can be. This road's been hard, and there've been times I've fallen. You were there to offer me your hand, and in the stillness of my desperation, your love has come to lift me from my knees. You've raised me up so I can stand on mountains. You've raised me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong because you've lent your shoulders. You've raised me up to be all I can be.
Thank you, Yolanda. That was beautiful. Well, good evening, and welcome to a celebration honoring the 2020 graduates of United Theological Seminary of the Twin Cities. There are those who refer to online and Zoom-based events as virtual, but my hope is that this celebration feels very real to all those honored this evening and those whose many forms of support allowed these graduates to get to this point. Virtually everyone who makes a presentation of any kind these days starts with a recognition of the difficult, frustrating, and frightening times in which we are living, acutely in the context of the healthcare pandemic, but chronically related to the many forms of injustice that permeate our community, state, country, and world. Most of the time this evening will be spent with a focus on accomplishments to date. Those who have excelled in the various elements of seminary education will be recognized. Gratitude for family, friends, colleagues, faculty, and staff who have shown support and tolerance through the last years will be expressed. Recognition of the difficult professional careers that graduates have been called into will be highlighted. The large community of United alumni who can be guides, mentors, and colleagues going forward will be reviewed. I would like to spend a few moments, however, focused on one of the most powerful elements of graduate education, and most specifically seminary education, the building of professional resilience. Professional resilience is the ability to face challenges, obstacles, disappointment, and conflict, and know that you will adapt and that all will be well ultimately. That you have got this no matter what happens, not without pain, but with a trust that the challenges cannot shake you as a professional, as a leader, or as a scholar. For some, the review of seminary experience is a highlight of the challenges, the stresses, the emotional pain, losses, complex, confusing topics, vulnerability, and a myriad of gaps between an anticipated ideal and reality. For others, it consists of a euphoric filtering focused on key accomplishments, breakthrough insights, and the building of relationships forged through wrestling with an exploration of the mysteries of life. In my discipline, the concepts of trauma-informed care have received a great deal of public attention through the last decade or so. A concept that moves away from a focus on a person's brokenness, what is wrong, what are the symptoms of distress, and attends instead to their lifetime of experiences that have shaped and tempered the lens through which they experience the world. As is often true for popularized concepts, there has been a greater focus on the experiences of trauma and the ways that those experiences can be reignited by later life experiences. And there's been less focus on the deeper value of the concept, which is that each of us has built incredible emotional resilience through our life experiences, traumatic and other, and that our daily work is to utilize that resilience and knowledge of our deep inner strength to manage whatever life brings our way. None of us has gotten to our current stage of life without experiencing traumatic events. For some, these experiences have been incredibly egregious, painful, and sometimes chronic. For some, they have been consistent with the challenges of balancing our individualism with the truncated understandings of families and communities. But the one thing that is true for each of us is that we survived, and that survival buttresses our ability to build strategies and tactics for our survival through future traumatic experiences, and for some, to lead with compassion and appreciation of each person's story. A popular theme right now is when will we return as a culture to normalcy? Some trivialize that to mean, well, when will restaurants open? Or when can we get our hair cut again? For others, that means we can again safely hug each other, or be in public places without masks and obsessive hand washing. But perhaps the real question is, when will we no longer be impacted by the trauma of the pandemic? And the answer is that we won't. It is a shared trauma that some, hopefully all of us, will survive. The trauma and the path to survival will add resilience to our personal and group stories. Many of you will leave seminary and pursue careers in ministry, chaplaincy, public advocacy, or related vocations. Your job will not be to fix the world. It will not be to have the answers to life's pain. It will be to see and celebrate the resilience in yourself and to help others do the same. Not to hold our breath until the pandemic is over, but to celebrate the joys and miracles that transcend the trauma. Congratulations to each of you, students for achieving your academic accomplishments, family, friends, and loved ones for walking alongside students through their time in seminary, faculty and staff for the mentoring and caring that you will show as you welcome these graduates into the Alumni Association, and to all of us for being survivors. Thank you.
This is a reading from the book of Proverbs, wisdom's part in creation. The Lord created me at the beginning of their work, the first of their acts of long ago. Ages ago I was set up, at the first, before the beginning of the earth. When there were no depths, I was brought forth, when there was no springs abounding with water. Before the mountains had been shaped, before the hills I was brought forth. When they had not made earth and fields or the world's first bits of soil. When they established the heavens, I was there. When they drew a circle on the face of the deep. When they made firm the skies above. When they established the fountains of the deep. When they assigned to the sea its limit, so that the waters might not transgress their command, when they marked out the foundations of the earth. Then I was beside them, like a master worker, and I was daily their delight, rejoicing before them always, rejoicing in their inhabited world, and delighting in those who wrestle with God.
Sorry, I lost a document here. I'll be right. We'll be back on track in just a second.
Thank you, Matt. You're doing great. A reflection on becoming for the United Theological Seminary class of 2020. The formation process of seminary is a strange experience, stressful, joyful, exhausting, energizing, scary, brave. It is feeling all the things in a community of others who are also feeling all the things. After 2, 3, 4, or more years of becoming more fully who you are, you have now become graduates, and we are all so proud of you. You did this ridiculously hard thing. Seminary demands old ways of being be dissolved, your patterns of thinking, old stories we tell about ourselves, old ways of seeing the world. This dissolving is like being in the goo of the chrysalis. Before a caterpillar can turn into a butterfly, the story goes, it must wrap itself up in a chrysalis and wait there to dissolve into a goo before it regrows into a butterfly. A necessary process of being utterly broken down before it is able to take flight. There is certainly spiritual truth here, But I think the reality and the metaphor become even more interesting based on new scientific findings. According to National Geographic, quote, "New research suggests that the caterpillar does not dissolve into a soup as once thought. Rather, the insect's makeover is a programmed mix of destruction and growth. Certain cells die and body parts atrophy. Meanwhile, other cells called imaginal discs in place since birth rapidly expand. Eventually, the adult emerges remodeled, capable of flight." In other words, the magic of the chrysalis, the magic of seminary, is not about dissolving and then rebuilding, but about simultaneous degeneration and expansion. It is not destruction, then creation. It is both at once. For the caterpillar, this means the silk glands and mandibles atrophy, while the imaginal discs of antennae and wings grow stronger. This sounds about right for a caterpillar or a seminarian. Simultaneous degeneration of what is no longer needed and the expansion of gifts present since birth. Our world right now is also in the goo of the chrysalis, and it has always been, but it feels extra gooey right now. But the reading Sarah just did from Proverbs reminds us wisdom is an imaginal disc already present in creation. Quote, "The Lord created wisdom at the beginning of their work, the first of their acts of long ago. When God established the heavens, wisdom was there. And when they established the fountains of the deep, wisdom was beside them like a master worker and was daily their delight, rejoicing in their inhabited world." Dear ones, you are unbecoming who you are not. You are becoming who you have always been. These are your birthrights, imaginal discs that will become wings, ancient wisdom already born into this world, and your unique call, present since you were that weird little kid who questioned theology and who loved this world fiercely. Your strengths are expanding, and we are so excited to see you soar. Congratulations on your becoming graduates.
And so now we move from becoming to belonging. So you might notice I'm wearing a flower crown. It's May Day. Happy May 1st to everyone. This time of year has held significance since at least ancient Rome, when Floralia, flowers, festival of the goddess Flora, was celebrated with special participation from the plebeians, or the Roman working class. During the celebration, workers played games, venerated love, and let loose hares and goats, creatures considered especially amorous, to roam the streets in honor of generativity. We see echoes of Floralia in the bonfires of the German Walpurgisnacht, the Celtic Beltane, the Bulgarian Yeremia, England's May Queens, Cornwall's Hobby Horse, the Santa Cruzan pageant of Flores de Mayo in the Philippines, the Fiesta de la Cruces in Latin America and Spain, and the puppet-filled May Day parade of Minneapolis and Powderhorn Park. Earth warms up and we notice our own heat, our lifeblood, delight in our embodiment and in the agricultural fecundity of spring into summer, of summer into autumn's harvest. May 1st is also International Labor Day, commemorating the Haymarket Affair in Chicago, 1886, with parades and strikes. Indeed, today, workers across the world at Amazon, Target, FedEx, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, Walmart, Instacart, Shipt are striking over inadequate protections, physical and financial, during the COVID-19 crisis. In fact, there has always been a political, even prophetic element to this season. against the inequalities of Roman Empire or medieval feudalism or unchecked capitalism, working people have looked to Earth's own rejuvenation as a symbol of life in spite of social evil. Gazing on fields of wheat, on crowns of flowers, on blossoming almond trees, we are reminded that whether seasonal, societal, or moral, no winter is eternal. May Day celebrates belonging, how we belong to each other, to Earth, to the cycles of birth, aging, death, and then rebirth. But what does it mean here and now as United graduates to belong in the midst of a global pandemic? We will not gather in public, shoulder to shoulder chanting, nor dance in fields or leap over bonfires. I assume everyone is planning on doing that. We are forced to reckon with the paradox of belonging when many are homebound or else go to work, where the interconnectedness of bodies points not to a renewal of life, but actually threatens it. How can we belong to one another when we must be distant? United is a font of creativity in a world of ambiguous change. How do we belong to each other in the winter of COVID-19? I think we belong to each other when our professors and administrators seamlessly adapt our courses to be online, while also holding space for students to express grief and anxiety. We belong to each other when Karen and Sarah organize relief funds and reach out to us all individually and provide spiritual support. We belong to one another when students rise up and offer an unprecedented number of spiritual practice in chapels, all through the medium of Zoom, to remind us on the daily that community is balm, that community is sacred. Belonging is impromptu checkups, happy hours, arts lunches, student forums, online galleries, and continuing to meet with our community partners. And belonging is physical distancing, because we must do everything in our power to protect each other. Belonging is learning from the clear waters in Venice, and the mending fabrics of the ozone, and the return of once forgotten wild boars and monkeys and dolphins and jellyfish to our cityscapes and towns. Belonging is refusal to return to a normal that abuses workers and sees nature only as resource and human instrument. Belonging is leaning into the chaos, the tehom, the abyss that has surfaced in crisis but was always near, and kindling in one another that flame of hope. Graduating in the midst of pandemic, I think about the longing of belonging and the distance or lack it implies. I once longed for a religious community and found it in the justice-seeking, art-creating family of United. Now I long to be with each of you in person, and I long for a safer, healthier world. Belonging then is a contradiction, because what we long for, what we reach for, is simultaneously already here, being with us, as Sarah so eloquently said. Belonging is a paradox because we long for what we have. We long for a world that in our interconnectedness we are already building. We long for the end of winter, even as this particular summer returns with long-lost animal friends, with clean waters and cleaner skies than we have seen in so many years. And as we long for togetherness at the end of our studies, at the threshold of ministry in a frightening world, we also know we are together. We have always been here, and the distances between us that seem so, so great might really be so, so small. Summer is a-coming in. Happy May Day and congratulations to my fellow students.
Creative, iconoclastic, prophetic, repairers of the breach, the ineffable seeking the ineffable. If you had only 6 words to capture where you have been, what you have become, and both what you belong to, but what you long for as well. What would those 6 words be? Have you heard any of these words applied to you, both as students of United, as faculty, as staff, and being part of this community? Creative, iconoclastic, prophetic, repairers of the breach, the ineffable, seeking the ineffable. In this moment and this space, we are going to ask for the graduates to write 6-word stories, 6 words that will capture where they have been, what has happened here, where they are going to, knowing that in 6 words, there is a depth and a space that can contain so much, that can hold so much in each one of us as well. This is a long tradition, and I expect probably a lot of United graduates to break the rules. But if you can stay within 6 words, that would be great. In the time that we have, you'll hear some interlude music for you to prepare your 6-word stories of blessings, of thanks, of wisdom, of something that you would like to offer for those students who will still be here, something of your legacy, whatever that may be, that can be captured in 6 words. When the interlude music is over, the graduates only will have a chance to share what those 6 words will be. And in the style of United, this is going to be chaos, but I truly believe in jazz that can happen even over time differential and delay and internet bandwidth. That you all, as you have done in your classrooms, as you've done with one another, that you will feel one another through time and distance and space and electronic currents, to know that when the space is there, you will enter. If 2 enter at the same time, you will make room for one another. This isn't about perfection. This is about being authentic. Offer your 6-word story and make space for the next person in the next room. For those of us, staff, faculty, other students who are not graduating, I invite you to write your 6-word story as well. You will not have a chance to share it out loud in this space, but I will post something in the chat section, a Google Doc, that you can paste this in later on, along with the graduating seniors and their 6-word stories together, so that they may depart with these gifts, these blessings. And for those of us who remain, these 6-word stories can be words of thanks, words of remembrance, things that you would like them to remember and be blessed by as they go to the next places, knowing that we're still not separate, that we still belong to one another. Creative, iconoclastic, prophetic, repairers of the breach. You who are ineffable, that still seek the ineffable. I invite you to create and offer and hold the space with us as well. As we come together and hear our graduates share our stories, we'll ask if everyone else who's not graduating or departing, if you can leave yourself on mute. And for graduates, we'll let you feel the rhythm of how you'd like to enter into the space to offer your 6-word stories. Savor and enjoy every single word as you offer this. And for us, may we receive these gifts in the same way that we have been with these folks through all this time too.
Welcome, transform, scene, enliven, nurture, bloom.
Always in community, together we go.
Gracious, inclusive, hospitality, passionate, eye-opening learning.
Seeker and receiver, revelation of presence, accepted yet changed.
Unconditional love, lifting me through adversity.
Enlightened, humbled, awe-inspired, empowered, embracing, a lot of doodling, celebrating.
Gratitude, gratitude, community, knowledge, family, humbled, and inspired.
Challenging, inspiring, hopeful, costly, worth it.
Joyful, authentic, unafraid, unique, challenged, thankful, so thankful.
Practice, praise, practice, prayer, practice, peace.
John.
Love, hope, justice seeking, losing and finding oneself.
Bland food, yes, but also stardust.
Working, troublemaking, ending the need for social justice work.
That is change. We are ready.
Reality, celebration, and transforming.
Moral. Here. Go ahead, Stacy.
Moral imagination, juicy creativity, Sophia, Job, Upaya contemplatives, theology of wholeness, unity universal.
Wow.
Here, I have found a home.
Eulogize John Waters at Christian Seminary. Wow.
Art of faith, loving most gratefully.
God with us, in us, muddy waters of community.
United Seminary, accentuated and enhanced my.
Are there others that still would like to go? Other graduates or those reparting?
Oh, I would, after Deb.
Go ahead, Carolyn.
30 blessed, challenging years. Thanks be.
We love you, Carolyn.
Yes, we do.
Love you. Thank you.
Deb had one.
Blessings, dear holy ones. Bless our gathering of celebration and bless with love and strength the connections between us. May we hold this time of togetherness in blessed memory. Blessing of peace to our hearts, minds, and our embodied selves as we honor the beloved connection we have with all living beings on earth, with you, with me, with every sacred one on this sacred ground. May the awareness of our belongingness be present with us in each moment, in each action we take, and in the words we choose to speak. Remember, we belong to and with each other. From the words of Gwendolyn Brooks, she writes, "We are each other's harvests. We are each other's business. We are each other's magnitude and bond."
Oh, she was supposed to give a blessing. This isn't.
Let it be so.
She's on the program for the blessing. It wasn't her 6 words.
It is tradition to share academic announcements at our final graduation events of the year. I will keep these thoughts brief, the reflections brief and focused, because this moment in time, in this very unique time, is really about you, the graduates of 2020. It is about your perseverance, your endurance, your faithfulness as you have finished out your career in this very, very unusual academic term. So while it's primarily about you, I also have to note, of course, that the faculty and academic support team has done just a wonderful job adjusting to these times, making syllabus alterations, shifting pedagogies, going all in on Zoom, putting the care and learning of students first and foremost. From Matt Stallenwerk's thoughtful and careful guidance with educational delivery, to program directors' attention to student concerns, providing additional vocational care and guidance, to faculty engagement with marketing and recruitment efforts during this unusual time. Everyone has stepped up. From the academic side, we have some notable updates. The Faculty Governing Council has recommended Dr. Demian Wheeler's promotion to Associate Professor. And the Faculty Tenure Committee has recommended Dr. Samuel Subramanian's application for tenure, each of which, as always, is contingent upon board approval. Additionally, Dr. Justin Sabiatanis has been recommended to fill an open endowed chair position at United, the McVeigh Chair of Christian Ethics. We've had a major change in library leadership, as Dale Dobius will be leaving United after nearly 30 years or so as part of the United community, and for the last part of his tenure with United as the director and I think mostly sole employee of the library. We will miss Dale's kind-hearted presence, his fairness, his always ready to help attitude. I will miss his phrases like your deanship. While we grieve the loss of Dale, I'm also excited to report that Dr. Tim Sinapadaratne will be starting June 1st as the director of the library and associate professor of theological bibliography. Tim comes to us with many years of experience in the seminary consortium as a research librarian at Bethel University, and as someone with a heart for mentoring students individually in theological research. We are excited to have Tim joining us and leading us in new initiatives in the library. Dr. Ayo Yatunde will be teaching her final class at United this summer term. It is a class, fittingly, with a large registration, symbolizing Ayo's impact on United and on our students for the past several years. Her presence and passion and insight will be missed. As I close those remarks, I want to make a major note of appreciation for Dr. Carolyn Pressler, who will be retiring, graduating, you might say, at the end of June after 30 years as a professor at United. She has been a remarkable professor, a mentor and inspiration for students, a feminist biblical scholar of international repute. She will be missed, and yet the impression she has made and the impact of her life and work will remain. And so now I will turn it over to Dr. Cindy Beth Johnson, who has a word for the graduates from the alumni.
So I think I'm not next, but I can be next. It's up to you.
Okay. I'm looking at one.
Academic awards,
program.
maybe?
Okay, I get to go right into my academic awards.
It's that kind of age over beauty.
Oh,
whichever
right,
one.
my apologies. Thank you, Cindy Beth, for that correction. Now, let's go into our academic awards. This is a time in which we celebrate the accomplishments of students for their outstanding work in particular areas of study, in particular vocational paths and direction. So we celebrate these students. They will receive a certificate, a small cash prize as well. And these will come, unfortunately, not today, but after this week, we'll send those out. So look for your mailboxes for those awards, those of you who will be receiving these academic awards. So let me begin with the Professor Edward Wentz Award for the best scholastic record in constructive theology. That award goes to Kyle Homstad. Then we have the Francis Pirazzini Award to the graduate demonstrating exceptional theological acumen and ethical sensitivities regarding contemporary social and cultural problems. That award is split between two recipients, Max Brumberg-Kraus and Stacy Craig. And we have the Susan Noble Blondes Scholar in Theology and the Arts Award to the student who shows exceptional talent in the study and integration of arts within the life of the Christian community. That award goes to Melissa Miller. The Henry Felix Kapp Memorial Award for the best scholastic record in Old Testament theology. That award is split again between Max Brumberg-Kraus and Stacy Craig. The Walter Kunzel Memorial Award for the best scholastic record in New Testament theology goes to Penny Bosnell. The Historical Theology Award For the best scholastic record in historical theology goes to Sarah Holst. The Alfred and Catherine Koch Memorial Award to a graduate doing outstanding work in parish service in a single year goes to Riva Tabalisma. The Horace Bushnell Award in Educational Ministry for outstanding work in Christian education goes to both Riva Tabalisma and Penny Bosnell. The Creative Religious Leadership Award to a Master's of Arts graduate for outstanding work in religious leadership preparation goes to Robert Galkowitz. Galkowitz with a C. The Donald R. White Prize in Theological Interpretation of Culture to the graduating student demonstrating excellence in interpreting culture theologically goes to Yolanda Williams. The Merrill Memorial Scholarship Award for a graduate demonstrating outstanding integration of the MDiv curriculum whose stated goal is the parish ministry or missionary service goes to Riva Tabalisma. The Charlotte Matthews Community Leadership Award to the graduating student who has demonstrated outstanding service within the UTS community goes to Deborah Jantz and Vicki Richardson. The Clyde Steckel Prize in Pastoral Care to the MDiv or MA graduate demonstrating excellence in pastoral care, counseling courses, contextual studies placement goes to Deb Jantz. The Joseph Morris Award to the outstanding D-Min graduate goes to Shalom Resnick Bell. Reimagining Community Award, outstanding work in women's studies goes to Mary Beth McWraith and Sarah Holst. The Reimagining Community Award for innovation and creativity in the field of feminist theology goes to Lizbeth Rivera. The Douglas Horton Award for outstanding work in a student's middler year goes to Gabrielle Hyla and Letitia Muriello. The Hortense McLeod, Geraldine Dinsmore, and Patty Herbert Award has a long description. It goes to an arts and theology student whose thorough engagement, intrepid whimsy, and theological out-of-the-boxness added spice to seminary life and provoked creative theological conversation and action at United and beyond. This award goes to Cheryl Schweiert. I believe I got all the awards. I think I got them all right. And so maybe now we can have a round of silent applause for all of our awardees and of course all of our students who have worked so hard over these years. Maybe now I can turn it over to Cindy Beth.
Yes, thank you. So the first thing that I get to do is invite you all to get ready to smile because we are going to try to take a picture, and we want to be able to share this evening and our gathering together in that way. So I am going to say smile, and then I'm going to ask you to smile, and everyone who can do a screenshot can take a chance at this. So smile and say 2020. Okay, now smile again and say united. Great, great. So it's my privilege and honor on behalf of the Alum Council and United Seminary to welcome you as the most recent class of alums. I look forward to working with you in your new role, and we hope that you will see this as another step of close connection to United. We hope that you will stay in touch, audit a course, you can do another degree, send us updates, and continue to consider United to be one of your homes. You will receive a list of greetings that have come in part from your alum colleagues. We requested them, and more than 60 alums answered the call to wish you well. The span of years represented in those good wishes begins with the class of 1965 and ends with optimistic alums for the future class of 23. I love their spirit. As alums, you too become part of a community of people who have left United for important and significant roles: conference ministers, educators, nonprofit executives, military chaplains, volunteers, entrepreneurs, college faculty, justice workers, ordained clergy, and more. I hope that as you read those blessings, you will now know yourself as part of a community of over 1,000 alums, as part of a great and wide group that represents United in the world, doing life-saving and life-giving work. Let me share a few themes from those blessings as a way to highlight their gifts and wishes for you. First, you have friends for a lifetime. Continue to draw on them along with your assignments, ideas, and projects. You will teach us new ways. We look forward to your leadership. Be angelic troublemakers. You are prepared and you are ready. Continue to feel immense support and pride from this community. Be attentive to the ways in which the holy is nudging you. Step into the world and redefine the word normal. Your accomplishments are not in any way lessened by the losses of the pandemic. It may take a while, it may take a couple false starts and some self-doubt, but you will find where you need to be and what you need to do. Stick with it. And Carl from the class of 1965, congratulations and blessings. You have inherited an amazing tradition that equips you for this strangest of times. Take it and run to places yet unimagined. Go with God. There are many more good wishes from the alums, and we will send those to you in a link. But now I want to talk a little bit of business. We need you to update us with your addresses and email preference going forward. And maybe to heighten the incentive, I'll mention that normally right now, someone from Advancement would be handing you a small gift. Given the current circumstances, those will be coming by mail. So if you know you're moving to a new job next week, or you think that the address that we have on file might still be your parents' house or 2 moves ago, please send me an email. And send me the email that you want me to use going forward, which might not be your United email. You know where to find me, and I want to know how to keep in touch with you. Michael Jonkas, a world-renowned composer and a teacher at the University of St. Thomas, recently wrote a new song entitled Shelter Me. The song Shelter Me came to him in the middle of the night and is very much a prayer in response to the pandemic. My hope for United's class of 2020 is that you will look back at this time and remember the pandemic, but that you will also remember these years as a time when you were able to shelter yourself in thoughts and ideas and conversations and readings. Not that you were sheltered from the world, but that you were sheltered for the world. Sheltered as you learn to strengthen your theological muscles and vocabulary, Sheltered so you could focus deeply on conversations from Audre Lorde to Reinhold Niebuhr, Paul Tillich to Martin Luther King Jr., Howard Thurman, Mary Daly, or James Cone. And I hope that as you leave this place, you will take part of that shelter and those conversations with you for yourself and for the world, so that you can still draw on the things that gave you shelter here as you step into the next phase of your journey. And as you step forward, know that we will still be here to offer you shelter, hopefully in real time, even as you offer the world hope and shelter in new and creative ways. Go forward now as part of a larger group, part of a shelter, if you wish, that holds you along with many other alums of United Seminary. Go in peace.
The prayers of gratitude is a tradition that comes from a college I work at, and I'm honored to be able to share it with United, and I'm thankful that you gave me permission to do so. The graduates were welcome to write whatever they want, whatever moves them to give thanks as they reflect on their years at UTS. These prayers become a testament from the class, expressing the unique individual experiences and also the common character of our journey together. Members of the class of 2020 have offered the following prayers of gratitude to mark this day. We hope these prayers give each of us pause to remember with gratitude those blessings and kindnesses that marked our days at United. May the blessings we received individually become a blessing for us all as we go forward. Lisbeth Melendez Rivera and John Schauer, will you help me read the prayers?
Yes.
Yes. For United Theological Seminary and all who have made this a place of welcome and grace, we say thank you.
For all who contribute to the UTS community, librarians and chaplains, administrators, staff, student leaders, faculty and mentors, counselors and guides, let us say thank you.
Our classmates share these thoughts and prayers with you. Each of us has someone or some place or something we are grateful for today. These are the prayers in the words of our classmates.
I am grateful for the friends and faculty who saw this road for me when I couldn't, and their wisdom and the wisdom to point me in the right direction.
The vicissitudes of learning, the methods of learning, and the attitudes of learning have changed my vision for ministry. Exposing myself to new endeavors, stepping outside of the box, and looking into new horizons has enabled me to grow expeditiously.
I am grateful for my family and dear friends who have encouraged me to follow my dream to go back to school and who have supported me through it all. I am humbled by the loving, intelligent, and kind students and faculty at United that I have been privileged to move amongst these last 3 years. They will forever be in my heart.
Thank you, God, and to all the family, teachers, and friends that teach and share your love in the world.
Gratitude to colleagues, teachers, classmates who expanded my perspectives, strengthened my ability to think deeply and to respond. Gratitude to family and friends who walked beside me, offering a soundboard and a safety net.
At first, it looks like a desert of the long dead and a future not yet reached. But under the illusion of dust is a field of hands reaching, touching, holding us up. The worlds of the past teach our lips to part, to speak. Meanwhile, we are entrusted by future worlds to be avatars of possibility.
Arthur, Carolyn, Cindy Beth, Demian, Gail, Howard, Kyle, Jan, Jean Marie, Jennifer, Judy, Marianne, many doctors, a nurse, a mother, and a father, good scouts and mentors all. I thank each and every one of you.
Gratitude to Steve, Joy, Christian, and Mo, who held space for transformation. Thanks to my family, who made sacrifices and put parts of life on hold so that I could study and grow.
To Dr. Io and Pastor Sarah Wilhelm Garbers, Greg Milland, Reverend John Lee, Dr. Wheeler, Kim McLaughlin, Phil Romaine, Jesse Leclerc Vachta, JD, Edith, Kyle, Bergie, Jared, and all those in my formation class, which was the beginning of this journey at UTS. I have been vulnerable and authentic with you, and you still cared. You humble me. I am grateful. I honor you. You are loved.
Thank you to Carolyn Pressler for a newfound love of the Hebrew Bible. Demian Wheeler for limitless energy for theological discussion. And for classmates who were vulnerable and honest and helped me be the same. Thank you for the healing I received by all of those seen and unseen who make United a place of welcome and grace.
I am grateful for the beacon that the All United campus was on my first ever trip to the Twin Cities, where I was embraced at the United community long before I became a student. I am grateful to the faculty and staff for holding the space for our learning, and to my fellow students who have been the greatest teachers during this time.
I offer my deep gratitude and love to all those who have been part of my journey. You have borne witness to my story, valued my voice, and affirmed my place in this beloved community of seekers.
To all who challenged me, who pushed from behind, who dared me, to those who expressed confidence in me and doubt that I should or even could attempt and succeed at this endeavor, a heartfelt thank you and a prayer that you may also be challenged in your faith, for this is how we grow closer to God. Blessings.
I am grateful for the diversity of thought, ideas, practice, and experiences shared so freely by the students and faculty at United. I pray United will fervently cling to those charisms of being an ecumenical seminary.
What a journey this has been. I would not be here first and foremost without the love for the divine, for my wife and for my family, all which have helped me arrive at this moment. To the professors who helped me through a journey that began with Hurricane Maria and it's coming to a close under strenuous medical circumstances, I am grateful beyond words. To my classmates who prayed for my health and for whose health I prayed, gracias.
May we freely shower grace on those we meet, as grace was so freely showered on us. May we comfort others through loss, even as we grieve.
UTS, you've made my dream come true. I thank God, and I am proud of being a student of UTS.
These are the prayers of the class of 2020. Together, with all our hearts and minds, we say thank you. Amen.
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 And now we are in an unusual time in history and an unusual moment, acknowledging that this is not substituting for a commencement ceremony, certainly not fully substituting for a commencement ceremony. And so while you graduates of the class of 2020 of United Seminary await another year to have a real formal celebration, we want at this time to acknowledge you in as ceremonially a way as we can, and to say your names, to recognize that you will be receiving diplomas you will be conferred a degree this summer as you receive that diploma, as you complete any remaining conditions and assignments that may yet be lingering. But at this time, we want to do what we can to make as public a statement as we can about the accomplishments that have brought you to this point. And so with that, I'm going to say the degree and then the names of those of you who will receive those diplomas this summer for your degree, as we then await next spring when we all celebrate together and with the class of 2021. So the graduating class of 2020, Master of Divinity, Stacy Craig, Yolanda Williams, Riva Tabalisma, Mitch Nelson, Deborah Jantz, Vicki Richardson, Kyle Homstad, Penny Bosnell, Meredith Olson, John Scheuer, Sarah Holst, J.D. Haas, and for the Master of Arts in Leadership, Cheryl Schweiert, Lisbeth Melendez Rivera, Allison Johnson Heist. For the Master of Arts, Hugh Hulster, Kathy Pino, Robert Galkowitz, Mary Beth McRae, Anne Larrabee, Max Brumberg Kraus, Melissa Miller, and Riva Tabalisma. For the Master of Arts in Theological Studies, Matthew Whitaker. For the Doctor of Ministry degree, William Sieben, Shalom Resnick Bell, Saw Octavius I, Sean Moore, and Bonita Kitt. Congratulations, United Theological Seminary class of 2020. Applause. And...
Yay!
2020! There we go!
We love you. Congratulations.
Congratulations, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Congratulations!
My dear friends.
I don't know.
And now I'll turn it over, I think.
Hello, everybody. All of you graduates are spiritual leaders. And spiritual leaders, by their very nature, are risk takers. To care is to risk. To serve is to risk. To accompany another in the middle of the day, in the middle of their lives, in the middle of a life crisis or a moral dilemma is risky business. A life of service, a life of witness, a life of prophetic call, a life of the here and now with the whosoever will is a risky endeavor. In the feminist ethic of risk, Sharon Welsh describes risk as being characterized by responsible action, that creates a matrix for desired change that focuses on possibilities rather than outcomes. The responsible action you have chosen is to enter a caring matrix full of unknowns, ambiguity, and mystery. The ethic of risk is firmly grounded in community, not just present community, but also the communities of our memories and our hopes. It is represented by the stories you tell about your past and about your future. At UTS, you have created memories and hopes as a community of learners, and the hope that you intend to affirm in the world is a path only chosen by a very few. You are the few who have discerned that the ethic of risk is something that God and the universe are calling you to embrace in service to others. Friends, today more than ever, you cannot take risk alone. You must be strategic as you engage with a multiplicity of communities to determine what can sustain you through the inevitable failure and defeat of being morally engaged with the world. You're all being charged today to accept the challenges before you. You are being charged to speak truths as you understand them for the common good. You are being charged to challenge conventional visions wherever they seem inadequate. You are being charged to offer what you believe your faith community needs, even if it is not what they want. You are being charged to remind those you will serve that authentic spiritual leadership breaks the hegemony of religious logocentrism and that no one orthodoxy can be served. For some of you, you'll be redefining church in the starts and stops of a pandemic. You will be creating new forms of virtual communities to care for the vulnerable and lift up the doubtful. There may be no pulpit perched high above the pews, no capital campaigns, or Wednesday night dinners. All of the structures and processes associated with a traditional congregation may be absent from your ministry in the coming year. Your ministry may take shape in between the concrete blocks that are hospitals, the dismal shelter spaces that are homes for the displaced, or a nonprofit seeking to create humane policy for the marginalized. Many of you will be serving no one community, but communities of souls, whose light and joy may be masked by shame, but revealed in love. The communities you will serve may not know that you are a minister, but they will know that you are taking a risk to show up. They may not know that you're a spiritual leader, but they know that you are taking a risk to stay put and to speak out. The communities you serve may not see your work as spiritual leadership, but will know your work as it creates more justice, more art, and more love as you persist in the face of defeat and insolence. The communities you will serve may feel ignored in their displays of righteous anger, but they will know that you will bring responsive action to those bound by bullish authoritarian power. Reverend William Ellery Channing, a Unitarian minister in 1819, made a radical challenge during an ordination address of a young minister named Jarrett Sparks in Baltimore, where he said, "You must not wait for the poor in the church. Go to them in their homes. Go where no other will go. Let no squalidness or misery or crime repel you. Seek the friendless, the forsaken, the desponding, the lost. Penetrate the depth of poverty, the haunts of intemperance, the strongholds of sin. Feel an attraction in what others shun. in the bleak room open to winter's wind, in the wasted form and the haggard contents in the very degradation of your race. Channing is saying yes to spiritual leadership, friends, and yes to great risk when he continues to say, "What weapon shall you take with you? You will be told to arm yourselves with caution, to beware of deception, to take the shield of prudence and the breastplate of distrust with you." The lesson is indeed important, but prudence and caution are only defensive armor. They give no power over misery, poverty, and vice. The real power is to be found in a higher principle. That higher principle, friends, is something you embody. When spiritual leaders like you take risks, you are saying a radical yes to a growth beyond a church or organizational numbers. You are saying yes to the growth of your sensitivities, the growth of your essence. Yes to moral and ethical values, and yes to growth in the courage required to put faith and religion to work in the world. Today, you join the ranks of these fearless spiritual leaders who have lit up the world with their passion and purpose. You say yes to the risky business of loving. You're saying yes to the risky business of hoping. Risk being courageous, friends, with your ministry, with your spiritual leadership, with your art, with your designs for the world, with your history, with your warts and your missteps. Take that leap knowing that you are prepared. You are ready. So, friends, graduates of 2020, get to work. The world's waiting for you. Blessed be, and amen.
For our benediction tonight, I would like to honor my roots and my identity as a Filipino person. And I will do a benediction in both my native language and in the English language. So please join me in this benediction. Sa ating paglisan sa banal na lugar na ito, pagpalain at gabayan nawa tayo ng banal na nilalang upang ilaganap ang pag-ibig at pairalin ang katarungan. Humayo tayong bitbit ang mapagmahal na kabutihan sa ating paglilingkuran. Ating iwan ang banal na lugar na ito na dala ang kapayapaan, pananampalataya at pag-ibig. As we leave this holy space, may the Holy One bless and guide us to share the love and do justice. Let us go forth in loving kindness for those who we will minister, knowing that in all of these we are doing God's work to the world today and always. Let us all leave this holy space in peace, in faith, and in love. Amen.